Hi everyone. So let's talk about giving up. Not the type of giving up that you're thinking of. Not giving up on different things along the way, or giving up on your dreams, or giving up on your goals, or anything like that. What I want to talk about is something a little different, because when we talk about success and achievement and setting goals, usually it has to do with what are you going to do to achieve your goal, and that is very important. I'm not saying it's not. So don't misunderstand me, but I don't want to talk about that today because we talk so much about it that I want to give that topic a little break, and I want to talk about something that's that is equally as important, because every yes is tied to a no. So you pick up a stick, the other end is automatically on the other side. You can't have a stick without the other end on there. Even if you break it, it still has the other end on it. It's tied to the other end of the stick. It can't not be, no matter how small you make the stick. Every decision, if you decide yes, it's tied to a no. And if you decide no, it's tied to a yes. It's the other end of the stick. So when you talk about success, a lot of times we talk about the yeses. You've got to do this, you've got to do this, and you have to have success habits, and you have to have goals, and you have to have a vision, and you have to break down your goals, and you have to do things every day, and you have to this and this and this, right? Well, we also have to talk about the other end of the stick, the no's. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to talk a little bit about what you have to give up in order to achieve success, okay? And that's the giving up part. When I say we're going to talk about giving up today, that's what I'm saying is, what are you going to have to sacrifice? What are you going to have to get rid of? What is in your way that you're currently doing, whether it's a mindset, a habit, clutter? It could be physical clutter, it could be mental clutter, it could be relationships, it could be bad friends or influences, it could be lack of motivation, or it could be, there's a whole host of things that could be happening that you are welcoming into your life that you need to not do that anymore. So we have to give those things up. All right? Let's start first. I'm just going to pick on a few things just so you get an idea. But first, your environment. Oh my gosh, I can't emphasize how important this is. What is your environment like? Is your environment set up for you to succeed? Have you even thought about this? Have you looked around? Where do you spend the most time? All right, let's start there. Where do you spend the most time? Chances are, well, if you have a job, chances are that's probably the number one thing, because you're going to spend 8 hours a day, and you only have, let's say if you had 8 hours of sleep, you got a third of your life out. Okay, you're asleep. Maybe you don't get that much, maybe you get more, I don't know, I'm just picking something. But half of the rest of your life, the 16 hours you're awake, you're spending it at your job. Okay, if it's a full-time job, you're probably spending a lot more. 8 or 10 hour days are much more common now than they used to be. So, let's go conservative and let's just say 8 hours. I'm not even including commute time. So 8 hours a day, you're at your desk, in your office, or at in a warehouse, or wherever it is that you're working on a construction site. I don't know what it is you do for a living, but wherever it is your environment set up in such a way that helps you want to achieve your goals, gives you motivation and drive and energy and excitement and passion and all those things? Okay, so the answer is probably no. Now, the next question is, how much control do you have over that? You might be, let's say, you work in a big factory warehouse where you're standing on cement floors and you're packing boxes or whatever it is that you're doing all day, and you have absolutely zero control with your environment. All right. Maybe, just maybe, your boss would let you put up a little poster, a small one, just a little like postcard size, right in front of where you work, that has your favorite, best, most inspirational quote on it, or a photo of something that you want to do with your life, somewhere you want to be, someone you want to become, something that gives you a visual reminder, gives you something to focus on. Maybe you could do that, just a small thing, right? Maybe it's your desktop. Maybe you can't change your office, and the corporate policy and the handbook of instructions dictates that you have to have so many, you can't do any pictures, or maybe it's your cubicle and you can't do this and you can't do that, and maybe that's all true, and you probably have to respect it. but maybe there is something you can do, something small, something that would change your environment just a little and keep you focused on the big picture of what it's going to be like when you arrive and why you're working, the side hustle and the evenings and the extra hours and the spare time, all of that stuff. So do what you can. Your environment may or may not be quite so easy to change. When you get home, you certainly can change that, right? Around your office, where you sit, where you work. Maybe it's just a desk. Maybe it's at the kitchen stool, at the table. I don't know what it is, but you can dress it up and you can simplify it by cleaning it up, getting rid of piles and eliminating clutter and getting stuff out that just hangs out in your life. And you noticed we welcome stuff in. We have systems to bring stuff into our lives and into our homes, but we don't have systems to get rid of it. It comes in and it builds inside our homes, and it gets heavy mentally. It gets heavy. So what is your environment like? Take some time and just clean it up. Clean it up. It's a lot better for flow. It's a lot better for thought process. It's a lot better for your confidence and clarity and a whole bunch of things that are intangibles that are so important that ultimately will lead to your success. So environment is huge, what you got to give up. Number 2, stinking thinking. I love ripping on this because it's so prevalent everywhere. What thought patterns do you have that just aren't serving you well? Have you ever thought about success in a way that's like, there's only so much to go around. Everybody else seems to have a piece of the pie, and there's only so much pie, and I just am not going to get a piece of it. That is stinking thinking. That's not an abundance mentality. I subscribe to Facebook groups, and I've read a few books on the matter that talk about a manifestation, and I'm not huge into that, but I do think there's something there that, it's not like I just imagine $1 million and I wake up tomorrow morning and open the door and boom, there it is on my doorstep. Oh my gosh, amazing how it works. It's not like that, but you can condition your mind for success. That is true, and I would venture to guess that anyone who's achieved high levels of success would agree with the fact that the more you condition your mind to be successful, the likelier you are to achieve that success. So garbage in, garbage out. What are you doing to change your stinking thinking? Who are you hanging around? Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? And how are they influencing your life? Well, they influence your life almost more than anyone. So I'll give you the answer to that right there. But you can choose to spend time with people via books or via podcasts or via blogs or articles or any number of ways. You don't have to physically be. Let's say Gary Vaynerchuk is one of your heroes and your mentors and you love the guy. Well, let him be one of your 5. Why not? Subscribe to his podcast, read his books, let him into your life, and his philosophies and ways of thinking will seep into yours and will help shape and mold the way you think about your success, about your future, about yourself. All right, so that's number 2. Got to get rid of stinking thinking. Clean up your environment, get rid of stinking thinking. Number 3 is habits. You hear me rag on habits a lot because habits are ultimately more important than goals. I know, I just dropped that. I just said that. It is true, and I'm not taking it back. Goals are important. Absolutely. You got to set goals. You have to know what the prize is, where the destination is, where you're headed. But how you get there, that's your habits. So let's say, if you don't believe me, go through this exercise. Let's say you set a goal, but you don't pay any attention to habits. All right? Option 1. Option 2, you don't set a goal, but you have phenomenal habits. Fantastic habits you do every day diligently. Which one is going to get you farther? Right? It's the second one. You may not even know where you're going, but you're going to get somewhere. If you've got the right habits and you're doing the right things daily, you're going to crush it somewhere, somehow. And it may not be exactly the goal you set because you didn't outline the course, but habits ultimately are more of a contributor to your success than goals. Goals are a destination. They're out there. But habits, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's the actions you take every single day. And action, nothing beats massive action. Nothing beats execution. You've heard me talk about this before. If you haven't, you ought to go check out. I posted another one recently about execution that has some great thoughts on just doing. Just get out there and do. Too many times we just get stuck. Analysis paralysis, we just love to study and learn, and that's all great stuff, but at the end of the day, nothing matters if we haven't gone out and done something. Do something. So habits is where it's at. Habits is where the rubber meets the road. That's what you've got to pay attention to. So there are 3 things that I want you to pay attention to get rid of, that you have to be willing to sacrifice. Now I'm going to end on this because this is key. You have to be willing to sacrifice these things. Now I know it sounds kind of funny because you think, well, yeah, I'll do whatever. Yeah, but will you? Will you at the end of the day, are you really willing to give these things up? Because these things can be part of your comfort zone. Oh yes, I just went there. Comfort zone's a whole different topic. Don't get me started. It's the end of my episode right now, so I'm not going to start getting into comfort zones, but you might have a really great comfort zone that you're in because everything's cushy and nice, the water's warm in there, and you don't want to get out. I get it. When you set a goal, don't just look at what have I got to do to achieve the goal. Look also at what am I willing to sacrifice to achieve that goal. That is every bit as important a list as what you're going to do to achieve it. Every bit as important. Take that, and I hope that you go out and crush your goals. And I hope that you crush your habits. I hope that you crush your environment and your stinking thinking. Those are key things. Have an awesome day.